We've just left from Manchester. We've just been on the march, Mothers Against Violence, to support and raise awareness of a lot of our young people who are dying from gun and knife crime. Whilst we were there, we were given the opportunity, given a few minutes on the platform, to highlight the Smiley Culture campaign for justice, which has also raised up other people's lives who've been lost in custody. I'm not sure if everyone's aware of what's going on, but Smiley Culture, David Emmanuel, was in his home in March, and whilst he was in his home, he was brought under police custody. They were searching his home, and whilst they were there, they said that he went into the kitchen, stabbed himself through the heart, and has died. And to this point, no one has been held responsible. So the family are looking into this. It's because of who he is. This has hit the news, it hit the media, and people all over the country and further afield are now involved. Other families have been raising up, stepping forward, the same thing. Sean Riggs, Wayne Hamilton. In Birmingham, Kingsley Burrell Brown, just a few weeks after, experienced the same thing. A young 29-year-old man who contacted police for help, who was out with his 5-year-old son, and no longer had he got in touch with police, he then lost his life through police contact. So we're asking that there are some changes made, and we want the awareness to go out into all different communities, whether you're experiencing it or you're aware of what's going on or not. For me personally, if we're now telling you this is what's happening, you need to look at what's going on and think to yourself, how can I personally make change? There is corruption, and the police are no different from us. They're not above the law. So if a crime's been committed or something underhand has gone on, they should be investigated the same way anybody else is. And they're the simple things that the family or the families are requesting.
And I'm asking people to sign a petition so that we can try and put some changes in place. There's people have gone round with forms. If the form comes to you, we just ask you to sign it, because deaths in custody is on the increase in this country, and it's not really exposed to the media the way that it should be. It's kept on a quiet and on a down low. Yet in the last decade, 400 people have died whilst in police custody. That amounts to 1 a week, and not one officer has ever been charged. So I'm asking you to think seriously about signing this form, because we're wanting change, so that investigations are looked at thoroughly, so that there's cameras and systems put in place that records the whole evidence of what's going on when you've got that person in custody. That's what we're asking for.
Because like an undetected cancer eats away at the flesh, so does hatred, injustice and lawlessness. And knowledge of it is the power to make changes, to clean it out, and to have power, to have peace. Do you know what I mean? And peace at the end of the day brings the fullness of life. And I recognise that change will not come overnight, and that there will be disappointments. But we can't afford really to be silent. And I'm encouraging people to stand with families now. Don't wait for death to come to your door. You know, don't wait for grief to hit your household. We need to learn the simple act of walking together like brother and sister on this earth, side by side. I personally think that's where we need to get, because at the end of the day, the law is here to serve and to protect us, and we're simply asking the law to do just that. When corruption comes in, devastation, destruction, and this affects us all.
So I'm asking you, don't wait to bury one of your loved ones. Stand with those who grieve now. Mourn with those who mourn. Let us rise up with determination and take hold of every opportunity in our reach. Let's make a difference and let's make change. Martin Luther King said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in his time of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in his time of challenge and controversy." He also said, "Without justice, there can be no peace. And he who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as the one who perpetrates it." So I'm asking you and encouraging you today to let the words "no justice, no peace" ring loud and clear in your community, in your neighbourhood, in your city.
But at the end of the day, before God, we are all equal, regardless of your job title, regardless of your badge, regardless of your uniform or how long you've served. And God is not sleeping. And I really believe that we're in a time where we need to check our words powerful words that say, you reap what you sow. And I truly believe that you do reap what you sow. In fact, I would go even further than that to say we're living in a time right now where the reaper will overtake the sower. So triumphantly, we need to be bold and be saying, in our communities, in our neighbourhoods, no justice, no peace. Let them words ring loud and clear. Let it sweep across the nation like an epidemic. We also need to consider that our young people are in places of custody for whatever purpose, whatever crimes have been committed, and they're not even safe. Do you understand what I mean? And we're not hearing about it. It's not publicised what's really going on. Teenagers dying. Between March and May, 5 young people died within a matter of 6 weeks. Some of these young people are on remand. There's different situations around them all, but there's just things that are going on that it's just wickedness, and we're not being told, and we're not being educated about it, so nobody knows. It's just on a quiet. A few years ago, a young Asian lad was in prison. He was in for 14 days, that's all he was serving. On day 13, the eve that he's due to be released from prison, he was only in there for serving, what had he done? Stolen a packet of razor blades worth £6. So he's in prison now. It's the night before he's due to come out. The officers decided to play a game called Gladiators, and they placed in his cell another youth who was in for murder. And this young lad was a known racist. They described him as a psychopathic racist, that's what his note said. On his forehead was tattooed a swastika. They placed that young lad in with this teenager. In a short space of time, he'd ripped off a table leg and bludgeoned this kid to death. 14 days he's supposed to be in their care system. Adults are playing God with these young people's lives. It's just wickedness. These kind of things need to be exposed, talked about and dealt with. 3 officers, another situation, there was a 14-year-old youth. 3 officers have pinned this youth down. And this child repeatedly told them, I can't breathe properly. He protested, I can't breathe properly. And at no point did they give in. He died as a direct result of the way that he was restrained. No one's talking about it, no one's really aware of it. It's not on, do you know what I mean? And as well as them kind of things, there's many more stories like that. I personally think we need to get to a place where this convicts your heart, where this pulls at your heartstrings, and that your everyday person who's not experienced it comes on board. When you see a good fight, get in it. Don't sit back and think to yourself, well, it's not happening to me. It could be. It could be happening to you, and it could be happening in your neighbourhood, but it's not exposed the way it should. And I just want people to be aware of that, to come on board, to sign the petitions, to sign these petitions, and let's get some sort of change in place.
Children. We gotta pray, meditate, find a way. Save the children. We gotta pray, meditate, find a way. Save the children. We gotta pray, meditate, find a way. Save the children.